Hey, South Park, listen up. It's Thursday night, almost midnight. It's 11:44, and I'm going to update everything that you need to know for the test on Monday. All right, so I tried to do it today in school, and things just kept happening. So I'm going to do it Thursday night, so it's ready to be viewed on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday by you guys. All right. The very first thing, this chapter is called Earth's Systems. Now, this are all the things that make the Earth work. So, pay attention and just listen to my voice. Study up this weekend, and you should do fine on the test on Monday. Now, moms and dads, this is a large test. I'm not going to say that it isn't, but they should be prepared. And if they studied throughout this chapter, and if they study probably Friday, give me 20 minutes on Friday evening, give me about an hour on Saturday during the day, give me another 40 minutes on Sunday. You're almost close to 2 hours worth of studying just on this weekend, just by reviewing your notes. So make sure that you're doing that. Okay? And I'm back in the Snuggie. It went from a couple days ago, it was in the 70s, and now it's freezing cold outside, so winter is back. So, Earth systems, all right? The very first thing that everyone needs to know is Earth has four main sections, all right? Now, fifth grade or third and fourth graders would call them sections. You are now in fifth grade, so we're going to use the word spheres. They have four spheres, all right? And they interact with each other, and they're why certain things happen around planet Earth, all right? Make sure that you know there's four. There's four of them, all right? Next thing you need to know, there's the hydrosphere, the biosphere, geosphere, and the atmosphere, all right? So there's four, and here they are listed right here. Moms and dads, make sure that they know this. Trust me on that one, all right? Next thing that you need to know is what do they each mean, all right? Hydro means water. Now, these are all from the Greek language. Hydro means water. Bio means living things. All right, so they can say plants and animals. The easiest thing to do is just say living things, and that covers everything. All right. The geosphere covers rocks, earth, dirt, sand, anything that you would build on, anything that you walk on. That would cover the geosphere, and the atmosphere covers space and air. See a little mistake I made right here. Now it looks better. All right. Now, one job that your kids could actually think about becoming, my son was thinking about doing this before he became a radiologist there, is environmental scientists. They study the cause and effect relationships in one sphere has on another. So, if one area gets too much rain, how will that, if the hydrosphere puts too much rain in one area, how does that affect the biosphere, all right? An example is this, is if you look back and we talked about Yellowstone. If the wolf and the elk and the aspen tree and the Yellowstone River, how did they all affect one another? So that was the job of an environmental scientist to figure out what the cause and effect relationship of each sphere was. Remember, there's four spheres. These are the people, the men and women that would study it. Okay? Moving right along. Okay, next thing we're going to start breaking into the spheres. There's hydro, water. So this is anything that deals with water, right? The hydrosphere is all the water on planet Earth. The water you can see, and also the water that is underground. Now, there's a lot of underground water. Moms and dads, we talked about the mines in Western Pennsylvania, and how much underground water there is in Western Pennsylvania. All you have to do is drive up 79, or matter of fact, I said if you drive over by the high school next to that closed down restaurant, the clubhouse, if you look on that hillside, there's always water constantly coming out of that hillside. Matter of fact, there's a mine there, and there's underground water that's flowing out of that mine. All right. Okay, the hydrosphere can be found in 3 states of matter: solid, liquids, and gases. Solids, liquids, and gases. Okay, liquid water exists in the oceans, in the lakes, the rivers, streams, ponds, and creeks. Oceans, lakes, rivers, ponds, streams, and creeks. All right? So that's liquid water. Solid water would be found, and it should be coming up. Okay, excuse me. Liquid water is also found below ground, below the surface. This is called groundwater. Now, years ago, moms and dads, we went on an awesome field trip to Laurel Caverns. It was a problem getting there. It just took so long to get there with the school buses. But moms and dads, in the summertime or any time of day, if you drive up on the north side of Uniontown, excuse me, that's a lie. On the south side of Uniontown, on Route 40, if you go up above Uniontown, up Route 40 Mountain, there's a hotel. It's called the Summit Inn. If you make a left right at the Summit Inn, go out maybe about 3 or 4 miles, you run into a place called Laurel Caverns. Great little day trips, mom and dads, and you can see a whole bunch of groundwater there. It's in Laurel Caverns. That is groundwater. That's another form of liquid water that you'll find underground, and it's called groundwater. All right. Now, another state of matter, or excuse me, another state of water you will see is in the gas form. Right, gas form is all around us. It's in water vapor, clouds. So that is in the gas form. So the liquid form, rivers, lakes, streams, ponds, underground water. The gas form is in water vapor. It's all around us. It's in clouds, all right? And the solid state of water is in frozen water or ice. Frozen water and ice can be found in snow, which hopefully we don't see anymore, frost, glaciers, and icebergs. So that is where you can find the frozen or the solid form of water. And snow, frost, glaciers, and icebergs, all right? We got that, everybody? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And once again, we just have pictures in our notes to make sure the kids understand what we're going over every day. Moving right along. Okay, all the water on planet Earth moves around in the water cycle. Now, we've studied this really hard, moms and dads. The key thing that you want to know about the water cycle, and we made a poster in this, and they're actually hanging up around the school. The sun is the reason why we have the water cycle. The sun is the energy or the power behind the water cycle, because we need sun to evaporate that water, which gets everything going. And the water cycle will be at the solid stage, the liquid stage, and the gas stage. It keeps flowing through. And this is a picture similar to what we have hanging up in the room. Evaporation, that's your liquid turning into gas, going up to the clouds. Condensation, it forms clouds, and precipitation, where rain or water comes down. Key thing you need to know is the sun is the driving force or the energy behind the water cycle. And in the water cycle, water will go from each stage, from the solid, then the liquid to the gas, and it just keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. And we've actually done some homework and some worksheets where we learned that water could be millions of years old. Not could be, is millions of years old. All right? I'm getting thirsty as I talk here. All right. The water cycle is important because it affects the other spheres, the other three spheres. Okay, without the water cycle, planet Earth would be in a serious drought. Now, a drought is when a certain area does not receive enough rainfall or snowfall. As we started the beginning of school of 2025, when your current sons and daughters were starting the school year, Western Pennsylvania was in a serious drought. We hadn't had rain for quite some time. The last couple months, we've been actually above where we should be for precipitation. But a drought is when there is no water in the form of snow or rain in a certain area for a while. All right. The problems of a drought is a drought causes plants and animals to die because there is no water. Right here is a picture of the salt flats outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake City, Utah. All right. Without the hydrosphere, there would be no water forming clouds. Without that, we would not have rain. And obviously, with no rain, no snow, we have a drought and everything will die. Okay, the hydrosphere affects the biosphere. So, how does the water affect living things? Okay, the very first thing, the oceans have a powerful influence on the atmosphere and the weather. All right. So around the United States, we're very lucky to have two large bodies, actually three if you really want to count the Gulf of Mexico. On the west coast, you have the Pacific Ocean. On the east coast, you have the Atlantic Ocean. And then you have the Gulf in the southeast part of the country. And these large bodies of water have an influence on the weather. Now, where we live in the Northeast, our weather around Pittsburgh is often influenced by the Great Lakes, especially Lake Erie. We have a lot of a lot of weather that comes off of Lake Erie that affects definitely the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, Edinboro, PA, Meadville, PA, Butler, PA. If you keep going farther south, eventually it affects the weather in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay? Let me see. One thing that I want to make sure that you recognize is water takes a longer time to heat up or cool down compared to the soil. So we could look at, and let's just look at Erie, Pennsylvania, which is right on Lake Erie. Let's say in May, you could have a day in May where the temperature in downtown Erie on let's just say at the courthouse area, it could be 85 degrees. The lake, which is a mile away, that lake water might be 50 degrees because it's going to take a longer time for that water to warm up. Vice versa, it could be in November, it could be 20 degrees at that courthouse in downtown area, but that lake water could be still 55 degrees because it's going to take a longer time to cool down. So water takes a longer time to warm up, then it takes a longer time to cool down. All right? Make sure that you understand that. Make sure that you know that. Got the dishwasher going in the back room there. Okay, most of the heat from the sun is absorbed by the oceans and lakes. Obviously, 75% of the planet Earth is water. So that heat is absorbed by the lakes and the ocean. All right. And obviously around the equator, it gets more sunlight around the equator than the North Poles, and that's why it's always warmer. So this time of year, right around Easter, a lot of people head south to Florida. The water is warmer because it's getting hit by more direct sunlight. Okay. On this page right here, moms and dads, we were talking about ocean currents and how ocean currents act like either big electric blankets or AC units. And we mentioned earlier the water takes a longer time to warm up or cool down. If you're closer to that water, it affects the temperature. Um, the temperature close to the water. So they act like either electric blankets to keep things warm or AC units to keep things cold. Now, the thing that you need to know about this, now this map right here, this is if you're in high school, we'd worry about that. Being in fifth grade, the thing that I want you to realize and know there are two main ocean currents that affect the weather in the United States. That other stuff is in high school and college. What you need to know in fifth grade that the weather in America is influenced by two currents. You have the California current, that's on the west coast, and you have the Gulf Stream current that is on the east coast. California current affects California, Nevada, Mexico, the state of Washington, the state of Oregon, California, as far up as Alaska. The Gulf Stream current affects Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I think I might have already said New Jersey, New York, Boston, or Massachusetts, Connecticut. Everything that goes up on the East Coast. All right, the places that you like to visit on vacation: Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, Duck, Cape Hatteras, the Outer Banks, Virginia Beach, Ocean City. All these places are affected by the Gulf Stream current. Pittsburgh, PA, is affected by the Gulf Stream current at times. All right, that's what I want you to know and need you to know, moms and dads. So out here would be the the California current, Pacific Ocean. Everything on the East Coast would be the Gulf Stream current. The Gulf Stream current moves warm water up the East Coast, warming temperatures even in the upper north. So it brings all this warm water north. All right? And the Gulf Stream affects the weather in Pennsylvania. The ocean currents has two different types: surface currents and deep water currents. As long as you guys know that the ocean has two types of currents: surface currents and deep water currents. All right. Once again, it's something that I want you to know the two types, that really study them. That's more of a high school or college thing. Right now, as in fifth grade, you just need to know that there's two of them. One's the surface and one's the deep water current. I see something there. There. Perfect. We're going to skip that for now. I know that's not on the test, and I know that's not on the test. Oh, hurricanes, that's what I want to study, all right? All right. Hurricanes, these are these massive ocean storms, all right? And moms and dads, we talked about these massive ocean storms and how the people on the east coast of the United States have to always be prepared for hurricanes. Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, especially Florida, North and South Carolina, New Jersey, Virginia, North Carolina, or New Jersey, or Delaware, Maryland, New York. We have to be prepared for these storms. And there's two things that you really need to be worried about with these storms. The main thing, hang on, I might have got ahead of myself. Let me see where we go. Okay, a hurricane is a huge storm that happens in the hydrosphere, in the water, in the atmosphere, in the sky. All right, and once again, the hurricane impacts all four of the spheres: the water, living things, the rocks, the soil, with flooding in the atmosphere. All right, so a hurricane hits all four of these spheres. Okay, an ocean or a hurricane forms when the atmosphere's gases, heat and energy from warm ocean waters. Um, think of it as a hurricane as a little campfire, and gasoline is out warm ocean water. The warmer the ocean is, the more gasoline you're throwing on that fire. You could have a small hurricane that might not do too much damage, but then once it hits the warm waters around um, South Florida in the Gulf of Mexico, it will explode and go from a small storm to a large storm. All right, we definitely talked about that at length and ad nauseum. Make sure that you know that. All right. The warmer the water, the more dangerous the storm. All right. You need to know that. Okay. Ooh, the middle of a hurricane is called an eye. Remembering it's always most dangerous and most powerful around that eye. Okay. Around that eye. Make sure you know that. Hurricanes can have winds over 155 miles per hour. There were a couple this year. It's on this video, but I don't want to play it because I don't want to mess up our notes. Were winds, I'm pretty sure Hurricane Helene, this one in 2025, had winds over 155 miles per hour. Now, one big thing that hurricanes bring are dangerous winds. We know that. Heavy rain. And the one thing that I want to make sure is storm surge. Storm surge are these huge waves that just come and destroy the coastline. This is the video, kids, if you remember. We watched, it was in Fort Myers, the house that was on stilts, and the wind just kept pushing out water, and eventually that house went into downtown Fort Myers when everything flooded. Make sure that you know the word storm surge and what it can do. All right. Storm surge is when waves slam up against the coastline causing a tremendous amount of damage. And storm surge also damages the geosphere. And I think this is a picture of, see how the storm surge just keeps coming up. And then I think we talked to Jacob's dad, or I talked to Jacob's dad. He worked for State Farm or PNC Bank, I can't remember, and he was telling us how close that you live to the water influences your insurance. So, then we had these talks about buying an oceanfront house or beach house. But one thing that people don't understand is how much that insurance is, because if there's a storm, your insurance is going to go up. And I also told the kids, mom and dad, that Western Pennsylvania might not be perfect, but it's a great place to live because how cheap it is to live here, especially when it comes to insurance. Okay, the hurricanes are classified by how strong their winds are. Make sure you know Category 1 is the strongest, all the way up to a Category 5. Category 5. Now, this is something that we just added in. It's not really going to be on your test, but a lot of kids ask me what's worse, a hurricane or a tornado. And I say a tornado, you have very little warning. A couple days ago, it was warm outside, and there were tornado warnings at the end of the school. That's the day we got out like 3 minutes early. There was a window of opportunity. We got your butts on the buses, and we got you out of the building. All right. Thing about a hurricane, they don't sneak up on you. They move very slowly, and you can track them from 2-3 weeks away to see exactly where they're going to be. Where a tornado can happen within an hour for no reason. Well, obviously reasons because of the weather, but it can happen very quickly. All right. Either way, you need to be prepared. We talked about Hurricane Katrina, Mom, and I know that I'm getting older because these kids weren't even born when Hurricane Katrina hit the city of New Orleans. Make sure that you know that. The Hurricane Katrina hit the city of New Orleans. So what I'm going to do this. Make sure you know it hit the city of New Orleans and caused over 125 billion in damages, and 1,800 people died. That would be 3 South Park middle schools if you take everybody in there. That's just misspelled because, Oh, because it's SPMS, right? Remembering Hurricane Katrina, there's that video. Once again, I don't want to play it because I don't want to mess up our notes. And this is what it looked over about after Katrina. And moms and dads, we talked about the markings on the buildings. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. And what each area means. It's who checked it, the date that they checked it, if anyone died, or if everyone got out. So that's all the information right on the side of the building there. Actually, that's someone's home right there. All right, the hydrosphere affects the geosphere. How does water affect the land? This is Niagara Falls, another great day trip. That's the made of the miss, moms and dads. You'll get over here, you ride this boat up, and you get drenched. Trust me, great summertime fun. These are actually the Canadian falls. The Canadian falls are bigger than American falls, but they're both impressive. And no matter when you're there, there's always a rainbow. Especially if you go at night, moms and dads. They have lights shining, and they light up the waterfalls, and they light up in different colors. I'm pretty sure the Sims girls went up there. They're from Bradford, PA, so they're not too far. They're Buffalo Bills fans, but you know we accept all at South Park Middle School. When water vapor moves into the atmosphere, precipitation can and will fall. It will either be snow, rain, sleet, or hail. You know what? I'm going to put this word precipitation in purple. All right. Make sure that you know precipitation is any form of water from the sky and the four types right here. All right. Rain or snow causes erosion. That's weathering on planet Earth. And erosion is the breaking down of Earth's soil and rocks. And I believe we have pictures of right here too. This is out in Utah, erosion. Erosion happens from precipitation falling to the surface. Erosion happens every day on planet Earth. It happened the other day when it was raining, and I believe it's going to rain this weekend. So it's going to also happen this weekend. Erosion happens every day on planet Earth. The differences that you see in the landforms across planet Earth are due to the interactions between the geosphere and the hydrosphere. I just like putting these in purple so everyone knows to make sure you study these. All right. And these are just forms of erosion. You can actually see where over millions of years that river just cut into this bend in a river. This is Big Bend, Texas. Strolling right around here. Once again, this is the Grand Canyon. All moms and dads, this is an awesome place. This is at the Wallapai Reservation. And outside of the Grand Canyon, about an hour and a half southeast of Las Vegas. And you can this has this walkway, moms and dads, and it has a glass sidewalk, and you can look down, and it's 4,000 feet straight down into the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It's pretty cool because the helicopters fly underneath you, and they look like little dragonflies, is the best way to explain it. Acid rain. I know moms and dads, when we were younger, we had to worry about it. The kids don't hear it as much because I think the world's done a pretty good job at trying to control their pollution. And when the hydrosphere and pollution mix, you have acid rain or acid snow. Acid rain is a type of air pollution. That's what I want you to know. All right, when snow or rain mixes with pollution from factories or power plants, acid rain is created. So is it something that we have to worry about today? Yes. Is it as bad as when we had to worry about it 45 years ago? No, not at all. And this is the power plant over by Beaver, PA, and I just put that in as an example of the pollution. These pollutants go up Even it looks like steam, it's still pollution. They go up, those little particles um, combine with the water vapor, and that's how you have your acid rain and acid snow. Okay, acid rain is very damaging to the hydrosphere and the biosphere. Acid rain can and will pollute rivers, lakes, streams. Acid rains can kill fish and other organisms that live in the water. Actually, I'm going to do this. There. Make that too. Acid rain can kill fish and other organisms that live in the water. And unfortunately, this is an effect of acid rain right here. Okay, acid rain can also dissolve rocks made of limestone and will dissolve statues. Yeah, I know you've seen these around the city where the acid rain, it's a chemical reaction with the limestone, kind of like when you put chalk and vinegar. It will slowly deteriorate that statue. Been on here for about a half an hour. It's 12:15 now. The problem that the atmosphere will carry acid rain around the world, so acid rain is everybody's problem. The geosphere, geo means rock. The geo means rock, and which scientists use to mean rock or the ground. The geosphere includes the mountains, volcanoes, oceans, even your backyard in South Park Township. It's all the rocks on planet Earth. All right. I believe this is a picture of Mount St. Helens. Don't quote me on that one, but this was just a good picture of the geosphere and how it affects planet Earth. Another great job that you can find or have are geologists. These are men and women that go out and study the ground. They look for minerals like diamonds, gold, copper, crude oil, natural gas. Now, crude oil, that's been in the news because obviously we started this chapter before we're having our war or our conflict, and now we're worrying about oil. So right now there are geologists out scouring planet Earth looking for more oil. All right. Yes, they can make a lot of money. Here's just a picture of a geologist out doing some rock study. Okay, what are clouds? Clouds are a mixture of water vapor and dust. That's coming up here for a second. Cloud formation starts with evaporation. Evaporation happens when the sun heats up the surface, water in oceans, lakes, rivers, and ponds. Okay, when liquid water heats up, the liquid water gets sucked up into, the hydrogen and the oxygen separate, and they go up to form clouds in the form of water vapor. Now, before they form clouds, they have to be able to physically hold on to something. And what they physically hold on to make clouds are dust and dirt. Dust and dirt mixes with the water vapor to form clouds, and this is called condensation. And for those people who've flown on a plane, I know I love flying through the clouds, and all you're flying through is water vapor, dust, and dirt. Now, the dust and dirt isn't like you're in dust or in your house when you haven't dusted in a while. It's sand, it's dirt, it's clay, it's very fine particles that get swept up. If you've ever gone to Georgia or South Carolina in summertime, you will see the dust coming off the coast of Africa. Even though that's across the Atlantic Ocean, the winds coming across the Sahara Desert will pick up that dirt and dust and actually put it up in the atmosphere, and you can track it on satellites. All right? I know I'm a nerd, moms and dads. I love the weather though. All right, clouds can fill with extra water in the form of precipitation, which is snow, rain, sleet, or hail. If there are no clouds present, means there's very little water vapor in the atmosphere. That's when you're thinking of Death Valley out in the middle of the deserts. Very little water, things aren't going to grow. Clouds and mountains. Now we spend some time with this. Now with clouds and mountains, moms and dads, make sure you do me a favor. Ask your kids the difference between the leeward and the windward side of the mountain. All right. Clouds can also form over around mountain ranges. When the air hits the mountain range, it starts to rise. So if you think of a mountain here, when that air can't go through the mountain, can't go below it, it has to go up and over. As it goes up and over, it cools. And I said, Mom and Dad's is like a sponge or washcloth. When it goes up the mountain, it wrings out all that extra water. So that's why if you look at the Sierra Nevada mountains, when you have all that moisture coming off the Pacific Ocean, it might rain a little bit in Southern California, but when it goes up over those mountains, that's Truckee, California, that's Lake Tahoe, California, that is coming up off of I-80 out of San Francisco. Up in those mountains, you get a tremendous, you can get 3-4 feet of snow because as it's going up those mountains, it's wringing it out like a washcloth, like a sponge, all right? As the air goes up above the mountain, it condenses. As a result, the cold air can't hold much water vapor, so it either rains or snows a whole bunch. All right? Two sides of the mountain. The side that the wind hits first. So if it's coming this way, it hits this side of the mountain. That's the windward side. That's going to be your wet side. The side that the wind leaves is called your leeward side. Now, windward side, Mom and Dad, that's the side you want to be on. Why? Because you get water. You get water on that side. So if you're going to build a townhouse, you're going to build a developer, you're going to be an architect, you want to make sure you have access to water. Who cares if you have the prettiest house on the block? If you got no water, no one wants to buy it. All right, so the windward side gets all the rain and all the snow, which is good. Then we have the leeward side. This side gets little water, and it actually becomes a high desert. Probably Finnegan's dad, he works for the Department of Energy. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. I'm sure he's going out to Idaho or Washington, and I know, or Oregon. If you guys ever traveled, maybe Addie's probably been out that way. You, in your mind, you think Oregon and Washington and Idaho are nothing but mountains and trees. There are mountains there, but you have something called the high desert. And it's very dry because on the windward side, all the water got sucked out, if you will, out of the clouds. And on the leeward side, it's desert. It's a high desert. All right? And it's very dry, like in this picture. All right? And talking about Oregon and Washington, if you drive across the state of Oregon, which is a beautiful, beautiful state, crazy state, just because of all the things that you can see. You will start off, you will see, this is Crater Lake. This is actually a volcano that collapsed, and it's filled up with water. Great state to go to. Moms and dads, you might remember the Goonies. That was filmed in Oregon at Coos Beach, Oregon. So in Oregon, you can go, and I'm pretty sure I have it in my notes. There we go. If you drive across the state of Oregon in about 3 to 4 hours, you will see the Pacific Ocean, you'll see beaches, you'll see temperate rainforests, you'll see mountains, you'll see glaciers, you see deserts, and you'll even see high deserts. Now, this was an example of how the biospheres will change because of the hydrosphere affects everything. The hydrosphere affects the biosphere, affects the atmosphere. You'll see all these things just because of the interaction of all the 4 spheres, the hydrosphere, biosphere, geosphere, and the atmosphere. You'll see those. Now, when I was talking about driving across the state of Oregon, moms and dads, I told everyone what's their dream car, and they were like talking about Ferraris or Bugattis or Lambos or this and that and the other. For all my guys, and maybe moms that might remember, here was my high school car. If you remember that, 1985 Monte Carlo SS. Moms and dads, that's when I was somebody. Now I just hang out at Costco on the weekends driving a Honda Pilot. But back in the day, I was somebody. Yeah, baby. V8 engine. Little Bobby Brown CD, maybe a little bit of new addition in the C or not CD, excuse me, in the tape player. Yeah, back in the day when gas was 79 cents a gallon. All right, this wide range of landscapes is caused by the interaction between air masses, the water cycle, the mountains, and the geosphere. All right. Just a couple examples. The city of Salem, Oregon, it's on the windward side of the mountain, receives about 50 inches of rain every year. Then you have another side, towns like Bend, it's on the leeward side of the mountain, only receives 12 inches. So you have Salem on this side, you have Bend on this side, 50 inches of rain, windward side, 12 inches of rain, leeward side, and in between, oh, this is the city of Bend. Great little city too, everybody. And in between, you have the Cascade Mountain ranges. So you have 50 inches of rain in Salem. You go up to the mountain. At the top of the mountain, you have over 120 inches of precipitation each year. Pittsburgh averages right around 50, so almost 3 times as much. And on the leeward side of the Cascade Mountains, you have the city of Bend, only receives 12 inches of precipitation every year. All right? And these are part of this mountain. These are called the Three Sisters Mountain. And there's another mountain called Broken Top, and it was a volcano that collapsed kind of like Crater Lake. But on this side of the mountains, you have the city of Salem, and on this side, you have the city of Bend, Oregon. All right. And the rain shadow effect, that's what we were talking about earlier. The Pacific water is coming up. Notice you have a lot of vegetation on this side. It raises up. You have a lot of snow at the top on this side, and then the rain shadow. Rain shadow is a smart way, an educated way to say the desert, because it's going to be very dry right here. All right. The rain shadow is a section of the geosphere that becomes a desert because mountains or mountain ranges blocks the precipitation. A rain shadow always forms on the leeward side of the mountain because this side does not receive precipitation. And without precipitation, plants cannot grow, so land becomes a desert, not a desert. You will find rain shadows next to some of the most famous mountain ranges. Death Valley is located in a rain shadow of both the Pacific Coast Mountains and the Sierra Nevada Mountains. This explains why Death Valley is one of the hottest and driest places on Earth. When I was there, when I took my family there, I believe it was 128, and I think the hottest it was ever at Death Valley was 136 degrees Fahrenheit. Super hot there. And climate is one of the factors that defines the ecosystem and habitat and are created in the biosphere. Okay, on the windward side of the mountain, you're going to have trees that lead to growth of vegetation. So windward side, you're going to have trees. On the leeward side, what are you going to have? Very little plants or plants that can survive in a dry climate. And that is the end. Make sure that you're studying. Moms and dads, email me. Kids, email me with any questions, and we'll get done. All right? And that is about it. All right? Bye-bye, everybody.